Welcome to the timeless forgotten mysteries. The wealthiest companion in history. A Sahabi whose fortune, if calculated today, would still be worth billions of dollars. His business empire was so vast that even the great Islamic Caliphate borrowed from him. This companion's name is one we all know well, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf. During the era of Caliph Uthman ibn Affan, when the Muslim Caliphate had become the most powerful empire in the world and Caliph Uthman was among the most influential men alive, an unexpected event took place. Caliph Uthman fell gravely ill, and his sickness worsened to the point that he publicly declared, "If I pass away from this illness, then the next caliph after me will be Abdul Rahman ibn Awf." As soon as people heard this, they rushed to Abdul Rahman ibn Awf and informed him that he was destined to be the next caliph of Islam. But Abdul Rahman ibn Awf replied with humility, saying, "If that is true, then I pray to Allah that he grants me death before Uthman." And indeed, his prayer was answered. Shortly afterward, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf passed away. When the time came to distribute his enormous wealth, the scene was unlike anything people had ever witnessed. It is said that he possessed so much gold that axes had to be brought just to break it down. In his treasury alone were 2.6 million gold coins, equivalent to more than $700 million today. Alongside that, he owned 100 horses, 2,000 camels, 3,000 goats, and vast land spread throughout the caliphate. Even today, historians debate the exact net worth of Abdul Rahman ibn Awf. Some claim his fortune would equal 60 billion, others say 600 billion, and some even estimate over $1 trillion. To understand the scale of his wealth, consider this. 5 centuries before him, the richest man alive was Marcus Crassus of the Roman Empire, known as the wealthiest landowner in Rome, with around 500 slaves. If he were alive today, his wealth would be worth about $20 billion. But compared to the Muslim Caliphate, the Roman Empire was just a small power. Within that mighty caliphate, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf stood as the wealthiest of all. So, if Marcus Crassus had 20 billion, surely Abdul Rahman ibn Awf had far more. Today, the wealthiest Muslim is Prince Al-Walid bin Talal of Saudi Arabia, worth 16 billion. Yet, if Abdul Rahman ibn Awf lived in our time, he would still be the richest Muslim in the world. But how did he gain such immense wealth? Abdul Rahman ibn Awf came from the Quraysh tribe, specifically the Banu Zura clan, the same clan as the Prophet Muhammad's mother, Aminah. It is said that when the Prophet was born, Abdul Rahman's mother was the first to hold him in her arms. 10 years later, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf himself was born in Makkah. His father was one of the wealthiest men in Makkah, running a successful leather and perfume trade that stretched across Arabia. He would travel with the Quraysh caravans to Yemen in winter and Syria in summer, as mentioned in Surah Quraysh of the Quran. But tragedy struck during one such journey. Abdul Rahman's father and his companions were ambushed by a hostile tribe and killed. Among those killed was the uncle of Khalid ibn al-Walid. After his father's death, the young Abdul Rahman inherited leadership of his clan and began managing the family's vast business empire. Just like his father, he frequently traveled to Yemen and Syria for trade. On one of these journeys to Yemen, he met a Christian scholar who asked him a strange question. Has anyone in Mecca claimed to be a prophet of Allah? Abdul Rahman replied that no such claim had been made. The following year, the scholar asked again, and Abdul Rahman once more said no. The third year, the scholar insisted, "According to my knowledge, the time has come for a prophet to rise in Mecca. Return quickly, accept his message, and give him my greetings." Not long after, Allah had indeed chosen his final messenger in the cave of Hijrah. Abdul Rahman ibn Awf returned to Makkah and shared the scholar's words with his friend Abu Bakr. Together, they went to the Prophet Muhammad. As soon as the Prophet saw Abdul Rahman, he said, "I see light on your face. Share with me the message you have brought." Abdul Rahman was astonished, realizing this was truly the messenger of Allah. Thus, one of the wealthiest men in Makkah embraced Islam. From that moment, his life changed. The elite of Makkah opposed the Prophet fiercely and began persecuting the new Muslims. The oppression grew so severe that the Prophet advised some companions to migrate to Abyssinia under the protection of the just King Negus. Abdul Rahman ibn Awf was among those who left behind everything to start anew in Abyssinia. After some time, he returned to Mecca, where his businesses still thrived. But soon, the Muslims were planning to migrate again, this time to Medina. When Abdul Rahman prepared to leave, The Quraysh leaders begged him to stay, warning that Makkah's economy would collapse without him. His fortune was so vast that his departure threatened the entire city's wealth. When he refused, they placed a condition: he could leave, but only if he abandoned all his property. Without hesitation, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf sacrificed everything for Islam and migrated empty-handed to Medina. Upon arrival, the Prophet established bonds of brotherhood between the emigrants and the Ansar. Abdul Rahman was paired with Sa'd ibn Rabi, one of Medina's wealthiest men. Sa'd generously offered half his wealth, but Abdul Rahman declined, asking only to be shown the marketplace. With nothing in hand, he entered the Jewish-controlled market, where merchants like Abu Rafi dominated trade through manipulation and exploitation. Abdul Rahman studied the market carefully, then struck a profit-sharing deal with a Muslim shopkeeper to sell butter, dates, and ghee. By evening, he had earned his first small profit, which he used to buy food. Day by day, his trade grew. He innovated by mixing butter and dates to create a popular sweet dish called highs, doubling his profits. Soon, he could afford marriage, the first of the emigrants in Medina to do so. From there, his business expanded into horses, saddles, clothing, leather, and perfumes. His caravans began traveling across Arabia, rivaling even the wealth of Jewish merchants. Unlike them, he was honest, transparent, and fair in pricing. Customers trusted him, and his reputation soared. Eventually, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf became the wealthiest man in Medina. But his fortune never distracted him from his faith. He fought bravely alongside the Prophet in every battle, including Uhud, where he received 21 sword wounds defending the Prophet. Though injured for life, he remained one of the Prophet's most trusted companions. After the Battle of Khaybar, the Prophet gifted him 2 large gardens. Yet, even in moments of prosperity, reminders of his past resurfaced. When Khalid ibn al-Walid mistakenly attacked a tribe, Abdul Rahman ibn Awf reminded him sharply that this was the same tribe responsible for killing his father years earlier. The dispute grew heated until the Prophet himself intervened, telling Khalid, "Do not insult my companions. Even if you were to spend gold equal to the mountain of Uhud, you could never match them." This was the difference. Abdul Rahman ibn Awf had supported the Prophet in the earliest days, when almost no one else stood by him. His loyalty, sacrifices, and wealth became a pillar for Islam's growth.